Welcome back, everyone. Now, some sad news here. Avocado prices have jumped to a 24-year high as the world's biggest exporter, Mexico, is seeing supply tightening. Now, for more on this and what's happening with those food prices, let's bring in David Magaña, RaboResearch's Food and Agribusiness's VP and Senior Analyst. So, David, tough news. I'm never one to turn down guacamole when it's on the menu, so this is not good news. What factors are at play here regarding Mexico and the supplies we're seeing in Mexico?
Hi, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, that price that you are referring to is a price index in Mexico. And the main suspects here are lower availability as well as supply side inflationary pressures. So now you know that all the growers across the food value chain are facing this increased cost on the energy side, fertilizer side, and also in terms of labor. Just I have to mention, minimum wage in Mexico increased 22% this year compared to last, and it's been increasing steadily over the last 3 years.
So then, by the time you add in all these added costs along the supply chain, then how soon do you think we'll see that reflected in the prices for commercial buyers and then in turn perhaps retail consumers?
Yeah, we've seen those increased levels of prices for avocados in the U.S. For example, before the Super Bowl in January this year, prices at the wholesale level were 100% more expensive compared to January in 2021. And now we have to put this into perspective. Prices at the beginning of 2021 were unusually low, given that we had record availability, record shipments coming from Mexico. So this year, availabilities were more like, shipments were more like on the historical level for the average for the last 5 years, and prices were above average as the demand for avocados continues strong. So now we continue to see elevated prices at wholesale. However, given that all marketers and retailers, they have different marketing and promotional strategies, you may not see 100% increase in prices when you go to the store.
So to that point then, how much does what we're seeing with avocado prices, how much is that being reflected in other parts of the fruit market as well?
Well, we've seen inflationary pressures, particularly on the fresh fruit side. And this is not new. Something that is characteristic of fresh fruit prices are seasonality, high volatility, and this is also exacerbated by the fact that we're talking about the highly perishable commodities. So you cannot just store, for example, fresh berries, you cannot store them for long, so you have to market them right away. So a year ago, during the spring of 2021, we saw also high CPI prices in the fruit space, probably the highest across food categories. And that was mostly demand driven, as many COVID-related restrictions were lifted and consumers were making more frequent trips to the store. The demand for these health food items was strong. But now we're seeing inflationary pressures again over the last few months, but now those come mostly from the supply side.
And we did see in your notes that you said year-on-year retail dollar sales growth is an indicator that the fruit industry tracks closely. So what is that showing you then about where we might see prices headed, say, in the coming months?
Well, some point to consider is that we're still during most of, mainly during the U.S. off-season, so mostly imported fruits during the winter, either coming from Mexico or coming all the way from South America, particularly from Chile, from Peru, from Argentina, and I talk about table grapes, blueberries, lemons, and other citrus. So now, as we go into the late spring and summer, we will see more availability of U.S. production, and probably we will see some of these inflationary pressures easing